You know, you know. You know, you know.
Ho! Yeah. You know how the story go. You done shot my style, you done stole my flow. You done seen me out, you can snow hello. And you wonder why, man, you know.
You know, you know. You know, you know. You know, you know. You know, you know. You know, you know. You know, you know.
All right, everybody. Welcome everybody to the Luke Pipala show. Yeah, we've been on a little abbreviated absence here, but the summer break is over and we're back. So without further ado, Andrew Hardenbrook, welcome, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man, this is a long time coming. This whole idea started, I don't know if you remember, but I helped you move a couple pieces of furniture in here, and I don't know if I mentioned to you or not, but you talked to me about like what you wanted to start and stuff like that. And I said, shit, come on the podcast. And, here we are. Like,
That was, a year and a half ago? That was crazy, actually. It's probably the first thing that was ever in here. A chair and a fucking chair.
Yeah.
Little seat cushion and a barber chair.
Don't forget the couch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had him get.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right over there. Your whole story, I've kind of been watching you build this thing from afar. I live a couple minutes down the street. And so, like, I'm past this building every day. And so, like, walk me through, like how you got to this point and what drove you to create your own barber shop.
Well, what drove me was I literally was just sitting on a year's worth of working, honestly, like 60 to 75 hours a week, and just had cash to put money in somewhere. Didn't have enough. I didn't qualify for a down payment for a house. So I was like, fuck it. You can cuss on here?
Yeah.
Honestly, help from Nick Sherrill, my little brother, were like the two. I was thinking about it, but they really pushed me to open this. And anybody could do it. Google. It's just a matter of like doing it a better way than how I did completely damn near everything wrong. But through that, you just learn so many like if you were to go back and open a brick and mortar, just go find as many people as you possibly can to help you through that process, so you can come up with like the best business plan you possibly come up with. But I don't think that's genuinely going to be as good as going and talking to 10 different people that have already done it, that are going to guide you through the process.
Yeah, definitely. So like, when picking out a location, or just honestly, like, what was like the point where it like clicked for you? You know what I mean? Because you said you were working, long hours, long days. Like, when did you figure out in your mind that like this is something you really wanted to do?
I'm thinking. While picking this location or opening a shop in general?
Opening a shop in general.
Probably just that day Will and Nick had talked to me about it, because I was just thinking of something to do, put that money to work. And that was the goal for, couldn't even tell you how long. I don't know if I just developed that probably from Gary Vee, and then it just accumulated into a big self-help space and financial, all the gurus and shit like that. But this spot, I don't know, that was like low-key another mistake, even though it's treated us very well and through like Google reviews and spreading word of mouth and stuff like that. That's a lesson that could be learned. It could be a lot easier to have a better storefront location. But I honestly I looked for like 6 months for a good spot. I literally had all brand new what to do. So I was just like, all right, we need to get this going or it's never going to happen. I'll just fucking go and then learn along the way.
Yeah. And so when you're starting your own barber shop, or your own brick and mortar location for your business, for you personally, what were like some problems that came up, or if any?
This knows a lot of the problems.
Fuck.
We, as soon as so I learned, at least from Matt and Dante at Clientele, had to come out of pocket a lot of money, I'll say, for a tenant to pay into their own spot for an HVAC unit, because in their lease they didn't put specifically the landlord should pay for standard shit that they definitely should pay for, like the HVAC unit, a water tank, the electrical unit, things like that. So I learned from that, made our landlord specifically state that and sign it off. And so as soon as we got in, literally a week or two after the water tank went out, it's like $5,000 a year, but for just opening a business, like
It's a lot.
that would be a little dent. So besides that, like, look at every crevice and corner of a spot, and I wouldn't even go for a older spot unless you have to get a brand new, or at least build the suit spot and get up in the ceiling. Really pick the brains of all the other tenants, if it's a mall or if it's a plaza or anything like that. You can go out of your way on the internet. It's pretty easy to find, like, these landlords, like these ones that own this current place now. They have probably like 55 doors commercially, so you can call around, and that's all public information you can figure out, and ask them, pick their brains. Hey, this is the landlord a dick? Most of them are, but how willing is he to help you? And another thing is, you just gotta fucking go out of your way to get something. Like, some of these people in this plaza just sit here with broken lights and not do anything.
Really?
And literally, it's just, I don't know, all of it is you get what you give situation. So you just gotta fix the shit. Or like for our landlord, if it's something like a huge plumbing problem, I'd be like, all right, here's the problem. Here's the plumber. I got him to come out, do a quote. This is what needs done. I know you're busy. Send the invoice, send the check. That's what it took. And a little key is one of my clients actually told me, you can do I don't know if it's exactly what it's called, but a rent escrow. You go to the court and say, hey, my landlord, even if you're like renting an apartment, yeah, my landlord's not fixing the sink. I can't use the sink, so I'm going to start paying my rent to the court until the problem gets fixed. That's their initiative to fix the problem, and our landlords got straight on it. So,
that's cool. I never knew that.
Little gem.
And so when you were looking, like, for all these potential spots, what allowed you to choose this location?
Not being patient. It's not treated us bad, honestly. It's still Boardman. There's still a lot of people in Boardman. Social media is the main advertisement anyways, but literally I just was impatient, and that was a mistake. Not that it's ended up as a complete mistake, but it was a mistake. So that's literally just being impatient.
Why do you think it was a mistake?
You could have got a better I think Clientele is a super great location.
Yeah.
I just think they could capitalize on how well of a location that is a little bit more. Like, great people, but stick a big ass sign where that Myers is, or let's say you're in the mall. That's a great location because you got foot traffic year round. It's a little tucked out the way, but it's still Boardman, and you can still get in front of people's faces on the phone every day.
Yeah, Main Road, Market Street's right over there. Speaking of that, when you were talking about advertisements, I remember seeing for a long time, you had a sign, I think it was out there, it said, like a beer with your haircut. Was that you?
Yeah, that got some attention on Facebook, but what another live and learn was, that was in the summer. We've been slacking on that this year, but we just, if somebody wanted a beer, it was later in the day. Go ahead, just have a beer. That's something that I don't know, just something to add on instead of making them pay for it. Which the license wouldn't be terrible to get, but just to, separate yourself.
Yeah, definitely. What was like? Did that just come up? How'd you come up with that idea?
Seeing other barbershops. It wasn't like an original thought. Like, it's just something that people come in with a beer every once in a while. So I was like,
oh wow,
yeah, you're getting off work. It's 6 p.m. Why not?
And so how'd you guys meet?
We actually went to school together.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not
him-
forever. Go ahead.
I met him up in I met him in 8th grade, and we really weren't like friends. Like we just knew each other. Like we were cool. Like we see each other. We say what's up. That's about it. And then once he went to barber school, I ended up finding out he was in barber school and D-Bake was in barber school. That's when I started talking to him once he graduated. Literally like right after he graduated. That's how me and him became cool.
And so like, what was like the process for like when you were selecting barbers for the shop, and how did you know that he would be like one of the right ones for the shop?
That was such a live and learn. I don't know. I never been in a leadership position like that before, so you want someone that's reliably there, someone that like Cliff stays late a lot of the time, mostly every day. Good customer service. You can teach anybody to cut hair. That's like realistically not even the most of the worries in a barbershop. But the process of it, I don't know. It's just being picky, I guess, because there are a lot of barbers that come and go, and just timing that up, and still living and learning on that one, honestly. Getting a genuine feel for that person, not so much of how good they can cut hair, I would say.
So in other words, like they have to be reliable. Would you say that?
Essentially, yeah.
Now, what drove you to become a barber? Because he told his story about how he was the only, you were the only white barber when you were in barber school, out of however many students. What was your? Oh, go ahead.
That was after D-Bake left. Yeah,
I got you.
Does D-Bake count as white? Like Hispanic or something?
Nah, he counts, bro.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
counts. He's definitely not. I don't think he's Hispanic, really. I think he's just straight up white.
We'd have to ask him. But like, what was your perspective on the whole thing? Actually, I want to piggyback off that real quick with another question. How'd you discover or like feel? What made you want to become a barber?
I had no clue I was going to cut hair. I went to one semester of Kent Salem and hated it. Barely passed. I was just like, nothing against smoking weed, but I was just like a low life at that point, doing nothing but smoking, and that really, I don't know, it's different from person to person, but I was just in a foggy headspace, and that couldn't even let me barely pass school. So I barely passed one semester, and so the girl I was dating at the time, she has a dad and brother that cut hair for only like $11 an hour.
Oh wow!
And seeing that I won't say exactly. I don't know if it matters. You can make good money cutting hair, and I was like, shit. As small town barbers, they're working pretty hard, but they're only cutting for $11 an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, fuck this. I hate school, so I'm gonna do this part time while I figure out what I want to do. Because when you're not cutting hair, it is super. We have a fortunate job. Like, if you're not cutting hair, you could play the game, you could do a side hustle, you could do anything. So it's not like you're clocked in doing busy work all day. Anyway, so went to barber school and was like, fuck this, I'll figure it out. But I really liked the wrestling, and I liked getting better at wrestling. So the same thing happened, but even more when I started cutting hair. Just a super, I don't know if I've ever been as passionate and like addicted to getting better at it. It's kind of faded now, but especially in barber school, just right away, like fucking watching literally all day long how to get better at cutting hair. And I don't know, it's just an addiction that fell in my lap. Just super fortunate, honestly.
So where do you think that addiction comes from? Because like it seems like everybody has like their own passions, if that makes sense. So like what they're drawn to. It's like, for example, with the podcast, like I really enjoy doing this shit, and I have like a drive to keep getting better. You know what I mean? With you guys, it's cutting hair. With other people, it's like athletics or owning their own business, or we could keep going on about that. But like, where do you think that comes from?
Action, because I would have never knew that was my passion if I would have never took action to drop out of school and go cut hair. Like, I think you start to get real depressed if you don't have any type of goals, values, and purpose. If you have something, if you have a target to hit, you can actively take action toward that. and action brings that passion and that motivation, discipline, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Well, I guess discipline is the action. Anyways, I don't know. I think action is simple and corny as that sounds.
No, it makes sense. You were talking about motivation and discipline, and that kind of put a light bulb in my head, for lack of a better term. I was listening to a podcast a couple days ago, and they were talking about motivation versus discipline in terms of like working out, and they were talking about motivation only lasts for so long, but discipline, if you have discipline, no matter what, you're going to be okay. Like, what are your thoughts on motivation versus discipline? Are they the same things? Are they different?
What did you say your thoughts were? What was said in that podcast? Or what are your thoughts on it first?
So what they said was like, motivation can only last for so long, but discipline, if you have discipline, you keep putting in the work, whatever, you're always gonna be fine. But motivation like tapers off. I kind of agree with that. To be honest, like fully, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% agree with that. That's I mean, everything's work in progress, but that's definitely one I'm working on. Like today was a shitty workout today, but you still go and you still make it. Even if you wake up super late and you only work out for 10 minutes, or if you walk in the gym just for the principle and then walk right back out, well, you at least have the discipline to go. Genuinely, yeah, like going in to the gym, I was lifting, I don't remember what it was. It was like 65 pounds on the bar bench. I like fucking hated it because like you're the weakest dude in the gym and you're walking around. But yeah, I think a passion for working out came from discipline. Completely agree. And I don't think I'm a beacon of discipline. Like, so I hesitated coming on the podcast, honestly, because I'm not fucking, I don't have all the accolades to show that I've been the most disciplined person. I think there's a lot of better people that can really speak on this than myself. However, I completely understand the concept, and I definitely agree with that discipline.
Yeah, and listen, you don't have to be hard on yourself, you know what I mean? Granted, we're all our worst critic, but I think you're definitely worthy of being a guest, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, you got to look at the accolades. Like this right here, this is comes from you, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Also, I don't mean to cut you off real quick. Yeah, you're good.
Go ahead, you're good.
But yeah, I do want to thank you for allowing us to have this space. Truly means a lot. It brings a lot more fun to the podcast. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's just fun to record, and so man, I appreciate you for having us.
Not called a collaboration. This is perfect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This in the background. Y'all can do this anytime, for real.
I appreciate that.
You ever thought about doing that, or is that too copying LeBron to sit in the barber chairs?
No, I've definitely thought about it before.
Just curious.
We were talking about that. You were talking about that before we started to record. Kind of having like a show where everybody would cut hair and then you record, kind of like the shop. Would that be something that would like interest you in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Any type of content, like even streamers that don't even have to put as much effort into thinking about what content they're making, like Kai, and I don't know if you know, like people like that. They're just living their life and it's less stress. They are the content. So signing up for Twitch is corny. Everything's corny until they blow up. But signing up for that and streaming all day long, or the idea of, let's say you hop on a stream, and I don't know, I've been thinking about this. The stream is, you can press a button and you go between the barber's haircuts and then their conversations, and you can just like, it's just a thought, it's an idea. Yeah.
Don't mean to interrupt. Do you remember what we did at Clientele whenever we used to have like the Twitch set up on like the it was on the P5?
I don't remember what we did. Didn't we just...
We had the camera. Remember when you had the first P5?
Oh, but that was
and we
just
had the
like...
camera of like the whole shop, everyone cutting the whole conversation. You just seen people like talking in the chat once in a while.
You guys stream that?
Yeah, it wasn't the best idea, but...
No, it was the same concept. It just wasn't like individual cameras.
Yeah.
It was just it's like if that had a camera, the TV.
Yeah,
Really?
it was like, just had like, you know, the PlayStation like cameras.
Yeah.
It was like just right there, and it had everyone that was in front, like the first like 4 or 5 chairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you stream that?
TikTok Live wouldn't be a bad idea because you get a bunch of viewers out of nowhere. Anybody.
YouTube Live too.
It works the same way.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder, but you can still basically it's the same way. But yeah, dude.
Same as Twitch.
What do you
Twitch is
think
like
about?
that.
What do you go ahead? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Twitch is like YouTube and on Facebook and all that, so you can do any of that.
What do you think about the algorithms, specifically for TikTok? You mentioned earlier, also before the podcast, you would post on TikTok and stuff like that, just for like the cuts and stuff. You know what I mean? Just to promote the business and the shop in general. So like, what do you think about the algorithms and sometimes how like people claim they're shadow banned or out of nowhere one hits?
I don't know if I don't know enough about the shadow ban to really speak on it, but regardless, if you just keep posting, you'd be good. You just make a new profile. Like all these like famous people, you'll see that they'll always make new profiles. They'll have 8. Detailed Day would be a good person to have on here. He, for like a year and a half, 2 years straight, would always post like weekly videos of him detailing cars.
I've seen him before.
Oh yeah, then out of nowhere, like he finally paid off, and he went a year and a half with like no views, and he had like 500 followers. So he could easily have just been like, yeah, I got shadow banned, like this is pointless.
Yeah.
Now he's at.
It's all proof, you just keep putting time and effort into something and eventually you'll catch fire.
Right.
But that's crazy. I want to go back to something too. You were talking about the gym. And this isn't like recent in terms of like the past couple weeks, but past couple months there's been like a controversy about like girls recording themselves in the gym. And guys too, but mostly girls, and like saying, oh, this guy's like looking at me, whatever, when in reality, most of the time, I mean, sometimes the guy's been proven to be creeps, but like majority of the time, the guy's just like finishing their set or whatever, and like the girls will go up to the guys sometimes. What do you think about that whole gym culture thing?
Just depends, but I mean, there's so many things at play here, like, one, there's the masculine dude that's typically in the gym that has like usually more that could scare a chick. That's at play. You got the fact that chicks will have leggings with a darker print under the ass, you know what I'm saying, to give the illusion of a thicker ass and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like that's at play. It just depends on like case by case. So
Don't forget that sometimes they have the fucking shorts on.
usually, yeah.
Yeah, they have.
That is true.
Like we don't walk around with
Yeah.
with our dick prints. So
I had a stand-up bit about that. It was the first time I did stand-up, and it was basically like that premise. So like girls on Instagram, the ass is out sometimes, the cleavage, whatever. But like the whole argument was like, guys, we don't really have like a body part that we could show off like that. And it was like, we're not out here like taking selfies with our dicks out. And like I pulled down my pants on the stage. I still had shorts on like underneath, but it was the whole premise, like we're not taking pictures in our underwear, you know what I mean? And the mic cut out. And so I'm on the stage now, and the mic's cut out, completely cut out, and my shorts are like just my pants are down, and I look like an idiot. I had to go off stage, get another mic. I was in a banquet.
was everyone laughing because it was awkwardly happening?
No,
like that?
nobody was laughing. It was silence.
This was an actual stand-up you did?
Where was this at?
This was at the Shriners Club. The first time I ever did it, might have been 100 people. Grateful for the experience.
Bro, they should at least laugh because of how uncoordinated it would have been.
No, bro, it was silent.
Man, fuck Youngstown.
It was silent. That's the worst thing. And I don't do stand up enough. I need to do it again. But the problem here is there's not a lot of places you can do it around here. But there's 3 things that could happen. You get booed, you get laughed at, or you get silenced. Silence is the worst thing by far. Never been booed.
How did you take it?
Like a champ.
Good.
Like a champ. I did the rest of the routine. It was like a 5-minute routine. It wasn't that long. Did the rest of it, walked off stage.
Like 5 minutes? That's really like, it probably felt like forever. Were you in your head a lot, being up on stage?
Yeah, so it was nerve-wracking. It was the first time I ever did it, like I said, and my grandma's birthday party was before, and I couldn't. I was like having a panic attack because like I couldn't fathom how I was gonna do this. I drank like 3 energy drinks, bro. I had 3 bangs. I was like, okay, I need to fucking feel it. You know, I have to feel it, and it ended up being like that. I felt numb when I went up there. I didn't feel shit. So I thought I was about to be like up, have all this caffeine kicking in, you know what I mean? Not be nervous at all. And I wasn't nervous, but I was just numb, completely numb. And so that was an experience.
That much caffeine made you numb, as in like
I didn't have any emotion.
Yeah, not good.
No. I mean, I was able to do it fine, like the whole routine fine, when I was on the stage and shit. But like leading up, the anxiety was gone. I wasn't like nervous. I was just like, okay, this is gonna happen. Yeah.
Props to you for doing that, though. Honestly, let me know when you're doing the next one.
I will. I have to get good at it again. I write jokes from now and from time to time. I have a whole notebook full of it.
No, instead of you writing jokes, why don't you just do crowd work?
Could do that.
I would say, because dude, honestly, right now, crowd work's just popping off with comedy.
Yeah.
Instead of writing jokes, is like, dude, let's be real. Like jokes, they're funny.
Yeah.
But like, dude, crowd work, like you can fuck with that guy, you can fuck with that guy, you can fuck with that chick, or like tell stories, like funny stories, because that's when the people jump in too. It's like sometimes like the jokes are cool and all, but like, bro, you gotta fuck with the crowd.
Like Matt Rife.
Matt Rife's popping off.
Prime example.
Dude, there's
King of crowd work.
Yeah, he has a whole special dedicated to crowd work.
Dude, and the thing is though, he ain't like he's not the king of crowd work, bro. I've seen so many people like on my TikTok that's way better than him. There's one dude. Fuck. I want to go see him. I think I brought him up to you.
You told me about this guy. I don't remember the name.
This dude's 10 times better with crowd work than Matt. Like he will fuck with whoever than Matt.
Oh,
Rife.
Matt Rife.
He's way better. Only reason why people like Matt Rife is because they think he looks good. That's like the main reason like why they fuck with Matt Rife.
That's what he says. He says like 80% of his audience are girls, 20% of the audience are guys. After they're done hearing it, after like the special or like the show is done, the 20% that were guys that came with their girlfriends, like they fucking love it. But the 80% that are girls that came for the good looks, like what the fuck is this?
That makes a lot of sense. We were just talking about that today. Guys would want to go, but not want to go without their girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just in a like egotistical way.
Yeah.
See, like he's funny as fuck, so I'm like I'd still go to one of the shows, but like it's a comedy show, so that's the main reason I'm not paying $500 to go.
500.
That's a little insane. My girlfriend went, didn't fuck, by the way, just have you know, because he likes to fuck his fans. But no,
Does he?
I think he does. Yeah.
I thought it was only like certain people. I thought it was more moms than anything.
Oh well, that's great.
I'm just saying, unless your girl got a kid.
No,
but-
she would never. But yeah, she went with a couple of her friends and she took pictures and stuff. She literally went backstage to meet him, but like she didn't have to pay for it. She like scammed it, which was kind of hype. She showed me the pictures. I was like, oh, that's sweet.
So are you gonna be pissed if she fucked Matt, right?
No, she didn't fuck Matt. Right?
No, I'm just saying though.
It's just a
Say-
joke.
The scenario is
like-
already set. It already
No, I'm
happened.
just like I'm not saying like she did. I'm just saying for future reference, she goes to a show.
No,
you gotta be mad.
Yes, dude. I think anybody would be mad if their girlfriend fucked Matt Rife.
I'm not
But
gonna
she
be mad.
gives you a hall pass.
No, there's no way.
I would.
What is this?
I'm not gonna lie. I would issue my girlfriend a hall pass for that.
No, there's no way.
Bro, if that's who she wants to use her hall pass on, okay.
No, there's no hall
But
pass.
like if I get, at least I better have a hall pass too, though.
So basically, you're okay with it. Okay.
I mean, hold on.
I mean, at least get some money out the deal, though.
What do you mean?
Let's get some money out the deal. Like, hopefully she gets money off Matt Rife first.
I don't like this scenario.
Small chance that's happening.
I don't like
I'm
this
just
scenario.
saying.
What a bad joke. Hopefully she's not watching. Sorry if you are.
My girlfriend, so she's gonna fucking love this part.
Well, hold on. Okay, so if you were to have a hall pass, then, and now I'm not gonna answer my own question here because I don't want to incriminate myself. But
Jen's pointing through the window right now.
but like, if you were to have a hall pass, what would your hall pass be? Who? It could be a guy.
Hell fucking no, dog. I'm going Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston. That's not something that I thought you would pick.
What do you think he's about to pick?
Yeah.
A hotter.
Listen,
Like,
bro.
are you picking Jennifer Aniston like 2002?
Dude, I'm picking Jennifer Aniston from Friends all the way till now. I don't give a fuck.
With the Botox?
Bro, I don't give
Really?
a fuck.
Oh.
That's been like my celebrity crush. Her or fuck, god damn, I forget her name right now. I'm drawing a blank. Who the fuck was just with MGK?
Megan Fox?
Yep. I fucking forgot her name.
I
Overrated.
wouldn't. She drinks his blood.
Fuck
Is
it.
that a proven thing? Like,
Yeah.
that actually happens?
Yeah, like
Shit that
they
she said.
talked about it. They talked
Bro.
about it on a pod.
For why? Just for the clout?
No, they were like into that shit. They wanted to drink each other's blood.
Can't get a
Become
disease
closer.
from that, or-
Yeah, I think you definitely can.
Yeah, they got HIV. You
I
could
think
definitely could.
Yeah, I've heard of AIDS.
Lil Uzi worships the devil. That's what I'm
Yeah.
about to say.
He gosh,
Just want to put that out there.
there's the rabbit hole that we've fallen down here. Do you believe in the adrenochrome conspiracy?
I know about it.
You know about it?
Adrenochrome is like, Monsters Inc. when they scare the kids and they fill up the little.
Oh
mirror.
yeah.
It's based off that. That's what Monsters Inc. is based off of. Basically, it's not a theory. It's becoming more and more proven in terms of worldwide human trafficking, sex trafficking. But the idea is that Hollywood is built up on this elite sex trafficking pedophile ring.
I
And
believe it.
I believe it too. And basically, the thought is like they get these children, whether they're from the U.S. or from different countries, shipped to Hollywood, shipped to these other places or not. They get them in like this hyper situation where like the kids know that they're about to be hurt in some way, and then this adrenaline kicks in, and that's where the adrenochrome comes from. It's like this drug coming from this like specific emotion when the kids are it's like the children in the state where they know something's about to happen and their adrenaline's rushing, and they get the blood. And what the blood does, this adrenochrome does to these celebrities, is it keeps them young. It makes them appear younger. And there was a news channel that was coming from like some country in Europe somewhere, and they were talking about this, and they were showing different celebrities like from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and then now, and they looked like the same. It was like Brad Pitt, it was Jennifer Lopez, it was Sandra Bullock, all these celebrities like that. And after a day, they have like these like red bags under their eyes, right? They look like burn victims. And then the day after, they're fine. Robert Downey Jr., it said him too. And it makes you think, and you would think, no, that this isn't real. There's no way this is real. But then you could actually look this up too. There's like actual proof. It's Sandra Bullock on Ellen, and it's this interview. And Ellen's like, "Oh, how do you stay young? What's your secret?" And Sandra Bullock's kind of like beating around the bush. "Oh no, I have these couple creams, whatever." And then Ellen's like, "But really, like, what's your secret?" And she started to allude, like, there's this like thing that I take, blah blah blah. She said, you put it, you inject it or whatever. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then after that, you're fine. And Ellen's like, "Oh no, what is it actually?" And she kind of beat around the bush again. And then Ellen goes, "It's from this is gonna sound racist. What's like the Asian? It's not Korean, not Japanese, not Chinese, but the other one, the country Manny Pacquiao's from."
Listen, I ain't cultured. Don't ask me that question.
Filipino. Okay.
Oh, okay.
She goes. Ellen goes. Yeah, it's like DNA from Filipino babies, and everybody laughed. You could pull up the interview, bro. It's literally proof. And Sandra Bullock acknowledged, like, that's like the shit that keeps her young. It's literally out in the open. And then have you seen the conspiracy about Ellen, the satanic painting in her room? Mm-hmm. And when her living room, she was doing like some video, posted to Instagram, I think, posted to social media, and in the back, it's there's like this image, not an image, but like a mural on her wall, a big painting, and it had like this satanic figure in the back. I believe it was doing like this symbol. There's like, I think it's like this. I don't want to do it and like fucking spawn something, but maybe it wasn't that exact symbol, some satanic symbol with one of these figures. and they literally pointed it back. This was like this. You could find it anywhere, really. There's videos on YouTube, TikTok, or whatever. But there's so many instances of these things happening. And then obviously Jeffrey Epstein, you guys know Jeffrey Epstein, right? He had an island, a pedophile island, and he blackmailed celebrities, politicians, musicians, whatever, very important figures just in pop culture in the world that had a lot of influence, a lot of money, whatever. And he would either drug them or just, or have them cave to whatever sexual fantasies they wanted. And they had these children, they had these women that were underage on the island, and these awful, grotesque things would happen. And he had this big list, like allegedly, like Tom Hanks, Bill Gates, I believe Jamie Foxx went to the island too, Bill Clinton, and the client list still hasn't been released for some reason. I mean, we all know the reason, to protect the people in power who went. But like Epstein was literally busted. He was in jail and then allegedly killed himself when the cameras were off, and like the marks for when he was hanged, when he hanged himself, like the autopsy came back and it was proven like no, that's not from like hanging, that's from like being choked. There's so much shit, but like that happened, like the Epstein's Island thing happened. And then you have Harvey Weinstein too, the big producer in Hollywood. For however many years, there's a compilation video of like all these actors and actresses thanking Harvey Weinstein after they've won Oscars and all these awards, whatever. And then it comes out that he was forcibly having sex with like actresses who were like younger and older too, for them to get parts. And it's like Hollywood, like all this stuff, like what they've built up this mountain to have us perceive them as good people, right? They try to be virtuous, but in reality, like, what are they hiding? You know what I mean?
Did you see Mel Gibson
Yes.
coming out with that fucking movie?
Did you see the movie?
I saw the movie.
Really?
No, I think not the one that recently came out. He's coming out with like his own,
The
like
documentary?
I don't think it came out yet.
I think that's what it was supposed to be.
No, I think I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of Mel Gibson. I love Mad Max. Anything Mel Gibson does, I love. But yeah, to speak to what you're talking about, the movie was called Sound of Freedom, and Disney was trying to kill it. It beat Indiana Jones at the box office. I think it was Indiana Jones' second week, Sound of Freedom's first week. I believe the film has made $85 million so far with a budget of $2 million. No advertising on TV. The only advertising I saw was on Twitter and YouTube. But yeah, the movie was about a man. It was based on a true story. Man who worked for the CIA, I believe, and rescued something like over 100 children from human trafficking. And it based on a true story. It takes place in Colombia. He rescues this young boy, who is the girl's brother that the movie's kind of focused on. Rescues him first, but then realizes that the daughter of this father who lost both of his kids to human trafficking at first, realizes that the little girl's still out there, goes to Colombia, goes through these jungles, saves the girl from all these people. It's like in the mountains, saves the girl from this human trafficking ring, this sex human trafficking ring. Nothing was too graphic. I came into it thinking that it was going to be much worse. But it was definitely just good enough for like the target audience, which was like middle-aged people. I was in the theater. It was me and my girlfriend, and it's like all these old people. I was like, oh, whatever. But it was a good movie. It ended up with him, rescuing her, and then there was also a scene where, gosh, they might have rescued like 30, 40, 50 like children in the scene, and that was true. At the end of the credits, it had all like the real life footage, like when it happened in real life at the end, like showing like this all happened. And the idea is to bring light like to that human trafficking is like the worst. It's worse than any type of other criminal, like drug, organized crime type thing. Like it's the worst. There's so much more children that are being human trafficked, that like drugs, any illegal activity being smuggled, like that's the worst. And I don't remember the numbers offhand, but it was some like millions and millions of kids were trafficked each year. Oh, it's so terrible. And to top it all off, all these media outlets, they weren't promoting it. They were calling it QAnon adjacent, which, if you don't know what QAnon is, it's like this giant conspiracy that Trump is still the president and JFK is still alive. Just people that don't have much to do, and they just create these crazy conspiracies, like the Democrats are lizard people. Whatever. It's a bunch of crazy shit. That's another rabbit hole. But like they weren't promoting it. They were slamming it and saying like all the stuff is false when it's literally based on a true story. And all the acts were caught on camera, were showed in the credits. And so I don't get it. It kind of makes you think like all these outlets are participating in covering something up. You know what I mean? Because if this is true, like, why are you slamming it and why are you belittling it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think there's two things to that.
Sorry, that was a
No,
big...
no. It needed to be heard because literally, it's not conspiracy anymore. It's the fucking world we're living in.
Yeah.
And one, how fucking... I don't understand if you are just wanting to tell yourself, oh, no, that's not a thing. Adrenochrome, that's crazy. I don't know if people just genuinely, that's the first thing that pops up to their head and they don't question it. I don't know how people are that closed-minded. If you know Epstein's Island is a real thing now, that you're not open-minded to the idea of things like adrenochrome being a thing, like, and two, okay, so we in the shop a barbershop is a good example of talking about how the world's fucked up. Child trafficking, huge, millions of kids problem every year. And it's pretty fucked up that I myself haven't even thought of anything besides, okay, we can have this conversation and then let's take it a step further. What can we do in this present moment, today, this week, this month, this year? What are the goals? Like, at the end of the Sound of Freedom, did they give you a mission of like come together? The only thing I've ever thought of, because I haven't really meditated on this exact question, but is to genuinely fight evil with love, good, and speak your truth. Be open-minded to other people's, you know what I mean? If you completely disagreed with everything, I'd be super open-minded to hear it. But like, what can we do about this worldwide fucking elites of the world problem? You know what I mean? There's probably something, I just haven't thought about it.
Well, I think that the purpose of the movie was just to allow people to realize that it's like a real thing. My girlfriend is the best example. She's a victim's advocate. So what she'll do, she works with the courts on behalf of victims who are like sexually assaulted, trafficked, and domestic violence, stuff like that. And she'll actively work with them to achieve like a better outcome in their life somehow within the courts. So that's one thing, but not everybody obviously could be a victim's advocate. So I would suggest not giving these big companies like Disney your money. That's something I try and actively not to do. Like, I didn't see Indiana Jones 5. I saw Sound of Freedom instead. I don't know, man. Without
just a question to think about, because like every day I hear this in the shop, because I used to be the same way. Like, I'm not bashing, like, awareness is step one. I'm not bashing, talking shit, or speaking about anything, but it's I never see the conversation taken to the next step of, okay, you don't fuck with Trump or you don't fuck with Biden, but what then are you going to do about it?
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, people like the media outlets tried to make this like a Republican thing. I think it's a human rights thing. You know what I mean?
It's kids, it's not political.
Yeah. At some point, people have to unite. I feel like it's just the media trying to tear people apart more so. Not like they haven't already done it. They've done it. But I think being more aware, something you wouldn't realize, that my girlfriend told me, the number one start of human like the number one way that children are human trafficked in this country, at least, is through a family member. So a mom, a dad, for whatever the reason, they sell their child into sex slavery, just because maybe they, I don't know, they're addicted to drugs and they want the money. I'm not sure. It's the most terrible thing that I can think of personally, but it's real and it's crazy. The stories she'll tell, it's just remarkable. You wouldn't even think, like, remarkable in a bad way, but lot of people don't really realize, and like it's bad here too. It's bad in our area. It's bad everywhere. But like you really wouldn't think because of how tight-lipped people are about it. You know.
No, I think, was it me and you that had a conversation about this in the shop the one day? Talking about being millionaires, like, would you buy a kid to, like, get him out of that ring?
Yeah, and funny enough, in the movie, there was a guy who would buy the children, and then set them free.
Damn.
Yeah, he worked with this guy that worked in the CIA. But yeah, I think I would, going back to that. Yeah.
Like, now what if, like, you're buying these children and, like, the government didn't know, like, that's what you're doing? Like, you're just, you know, getting them to give them, like, a better lifestyle, but, like, you got arrested too. Do you think it would be worth it in the end? This is just something, like, in my mind.
I don't know if they would believe you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know. I understand completely.
Imagine, like, you're a fucking millionaire. You get to buy some of these kids, like, not just to give them a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, like, because obviously, like, you have the end to now that ring, but it's like, they're probably gonna ask you, like, why the fuck didn't you get a hold of us? Like, we could have stopped it, but, like,
I don't even know if they would ask, because once again in the movie they depicted this scenario. The guy had taken down something like a couple hundred pedophiles, but in the movie he said he hadn't rescued a single child yet. And that's literally how the movie starts. This guy works in the some government organization, either FBI or CIA, and the scene opens with like the pedophile on the computer, whatever, getting in touch with what he thinks is the child, because the government already taken hold of it and now they're communicating with him directly instead of the child. But this guy, this superhero, they like batter the door down with a battering ram, and he goes and tackles the pedophile, and like as soon as he hit the ground, the scene cuts. Like they didn't give him any time. So whoever's like banging down the door, I don't think they would ask. You know, it's a scary situation, man.
dude, what's crazy to think about, like, we all want to, like, stop this some way, somehow. But the thing is, you can always slow it down, but it's never going to stop because there's always going to be them fucking pedophiles out there.
Yeah.
There's always going to be, like, the people that's going to kidnap. It's, like, it's going to be a thing no matter what for the rest of our lives, which just sounds fucked up. Like, I want it to just stop, but...
Oh, everybody wants it to
like,
stop.
I just don't.
What's pissing me off is that now there's people in media that are trying to have sympathy for pedophiles and call them minor attracted persons instead.
Wait, who does that?
Just people on, like, you would be surprised. Just people online, for example, on TikTok. I saw a TikTok about it, and I just think, like, at some point enough
So that's
is enough.
starting to become a thing.
Yeah,
You're saying?
they're saying that, like, they're
I mean, this is a tiny sliver of the American public.
they're saying it's fuck.
I did see that. I don't know if it's just some shit I see on the internet. I didn't fact check it or anything like that. California didn't. Something along the lines of the child trafficking is not a super serious deal. Like they put it in this category of not a federal, very important crime. I don't know the exact. I don't know the exact terminology, but
somebody will find it over there. They'll put it in the comments. But yeah, California, that's a whole nother thing.
California's like a fucking different country.
Yeah.
Like when you go to there, bro, there's just so many people out over there in California. Like, think about LA and Hollywood and shit. Like, that's just so many people.
So the thing is, you said like, there is always gonna be evil. I'm assuming a lot of it is coming from California, you think, but in a moral standpoint of fucking kids, of America, if it's gonna just go straight downhill, however long it takes, or if there's still time to save it.
I think there's always still time to save it.
I think it's a moral, it's your perspective, creates your reality. It's there's always gonna be fucking evil people, but we're only here for a short time, and we might as well have our life be leaving a better impact, even if who knows what the outcome is, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is what happens in our lifetime. So
yeah,
I think you should morally choose to be optimistic, even though it looks pretty fucking pessimistic.
Yeah, I agree. That's like a lot of people that practice religion, they have that mindset, you know what I mean? Like that's like the core, at least one of the core beliefs of having like a moral framework, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro. And to go back on that point, like I don't think the majority of Californians are bad, but
No.
in terms of like the government of the state of California, it doesn't seem like it favors the people right now. The cost of living is very expensive. I know that if you steal something, it has to be over like $900 for the cops to like take you in and hold you, because or otherwise they'll just release you. Climate change is obviously really bad over there too. The wildfires, it feels like every year around this time, or every 2 years. But you see like the videos of the wildfires and shit just burns and burns. And so there's that. I mean, to go along with that, there's not a lot of water. They have droughts, a lot of bad stuff. But I mean, it never rains. It's beautiful over there. I was there in 2018 before shit really went south. I loved it. Not gonna lie.
Where'd you
Loved
go?
it. We were in Anaheim. We went to Laguna Beach for a little bit. We were in LA mostly. Kind of like a whole West Coast trip. It was really fun. But Hollywood Boulevard, surprisingly, where they have like the Walk of Fame and stuff like that, surprisingly trashy. You wouldn't think
Really?
that, yeah. But like there were dudes like walking around like smoking weed, like, and I mean it's California, so you get that. But like there were a lot of homeless people too. I didn't see a lot of tents.
Did
And
you
I
go
know
to Skid Row?
we didn't go to no.
I want to get on Skid Row so
the
fucking
tour,
bad.
but no, you don't. The
I
tour-
wanna.
You
Is
do
that
not.
just straight homeless people? Or
It's
all
really
homeless.
bad. Yeah, it's been a thing for a long time, but they said after COVID, and especially during COVID too, a lot of people lost their jobs. So Skid Row got very big, and it's basically people in tents. I've seen so many videos. People in tents. A lot of drugs, a lot of fentanyl, a lot of heroin, a lot of needles around all over. Just a really bad place. Have you ever seen like the videos of like the people that are there?
But like, I've seen like the videos. I've seen some videos like where they're bad, but like I've also seen like celebrities, not like celebrities, but like small time like TikTokers and shit. They'll take like food there, and it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like the people are like actually cool. They just don't have nowhere to go. So
Yeah.
It's like, so like that's like a whole community. Like for instance, like in Youngstown, not a lot of people know about. There's something called Tent City. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's like it was, I think, under the bridge on
Under the
Market.
bridge. I think they moved it.
Yeah, and like the cops kicked them all out. That was like a little. It was like a city, little city inside of a city. Like not a lot of people knew about. But
So
like,
how do they get by? Like, how do all these homeless people live? LA's so expensive. How are they?
So there's shelters. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get into a shelter, like I know,
they're
what's
in tents.
what's the big one? Salvation Army. There's that. But there's. Gosh, I sound like an idiot. There's shelters, but like there's also organizations like Salvation Army too. A lot of times, from what my girlfriend says, because she's worked, with these people, like it's hard. A lot of times, it's hard to get in the shelters for meals. So unfortunately, yeah, a lot of times like they don't get the food, and that's why you see they're like frail in the videos. A lot of them are frail. It's a sad situation.
I feel like, aside from having a mental disability or you're completely a different brain that's addicted to some type of substance, being poor would be a lifestyle that could be freeing, and being extremely rich, anything in between, is just constant. Like, how much
Yeah.
are you working? How stressed are you compared to like how much that's paying off? You could go to Bali and be kicking it.
Yeah.
You could be rich and go to Bali and be kicking it. Anywhere in the middle.
Yeah. I feel like it depends on how you were raised, but also like your experiences with the world too. You know what I mean? Somebody like Dave Chappelle, when he was offered something like $50 million to keep doing the Chappelle Show, or however many $1 million, but he completely like left everything and went to Africa for a couple months. You never know what people's experiences lead them to do, and you never know what it causes them to think either, based on like their outlook on things. So yeah, it's all perspective, man. That's all it is.
It's good to see a dude like that being genuine, declining that money, and then resurfacing back to comedy.
Yeah.
Goat, by the way, the GOAT.
Yeah, I think he is the GOAT too. I saw him last summer in Canton
Oh, shit.
at the Hall of Fame. He was performing. It was cool, man. I had to see him. He's a legend. But yeah, there's an interview. Okay, going back to like the whole Hollywood conspiracy. There's an interview with him and Oprah in 2005, like right after he came back to America, and he was talking about. And now here's another, the whole Illuminati conspiracy, right? It's basically adjacent to the adrenochrome conspiracy, but the thought is specifically like for black comedians who are rising up, and for some reason they don't do this to white comedians, but for black comedians, black entertainers rising up, part of the initiation is to wear a dress in public, in a movie, in a skit or something. And Dave Chappelle said that the producers on Chappelle's show, or for some, actually no, it was a movie he was filming, and they approached him with the script, and in the script he had to wear a dress, and he said he wasn't comfortable with it, and they kept pushing back, trying to pressure him to wear a dress, and he said, no, I'm not comfortable with it, and he thought they were gonna have to completely rewrite a script from the way it sounded. He was telling Oprah this, and he said like, within a short amount of time, I don't know if it was a couple minutes, an hour, they had a brand new script like that ready for him. And he just kept talking about how like he didn't want the money that came with that, because he wasn't okay with everything else that came with it. Everything that Hollywood was going to hold him to. And then also, okay, so here's another part of the conspiracy. There's an interview with Kevin Hart, and he said, this was back in like maybe 2010, 2009, he would never do anything for fame that he would be uncomfortable with. And I think he said in public he would never wear a dress. Well, then a couple years later, 2012, he's on SNL and he's doing a skit, and sure enough, he's wearing a dress. And now, I mean, you see Kevin Hart in everything. He's in all the comedies. He's got specials, but then again, specials are a little bit different from movies. But like, he's in like every single movie. You see him in commercials now. He's with Chase, like everything. And I don't know, there's this one interview with him and Kelly Clarkson, and she talked that this is maybe 2021, 2022. You could find it on Peacock. I believe it's his show that he interviews people, his talk show. And she says that she's never done anything that she's been uncomfortable with for fame. Like, nobody's ever made her uncomfortable. She's always said no to those things. And he puts his like finger over his mouth, and he says, you can't talk about, you've seen that? Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Can't talk about that. Like, they're watching. And she goes, oh, they're in the room. And he goes, yeah, just like, what the hell? Come on. All this shit, this can't be a conspiracy. You know what I mean? It can't be fake. It can't be something that people are like making up. It has to be a little bit real. And for the record, I don't want it to be real, because if this is real, then that means that there's children that have been harmed. There's people that have been harmed. You know what I mean? I don't want this to be real. Nobody wants this to be real.
I bet you could research a lot of them wearing a dress if that were the initiation.
Kid Cudi.
How could that be a coincidence? If I haven't done the research, but if all of these celebrities, and then if you're able to chart how big Kevin Hart got post dress, but even today, fuck, a dress ain't even like how crazy the world is now. That ain't even immediately.
Didn't Lil Yachty have a dress on? He didn't really blow up that. Like, at one point, like, he dressed up in like kind of pink dress, fucking. I don't know. I feel like a lot of like
Young
rappers.
Thug.
I was about to say that.
Young Thug.
Good album.
Like I said, Kid Cudi wore a dress on SNL.
Real.
I mean, it's up to interpretation on how big people are. I know I see Lil Yachty all the time and things.
How you feel about the painted nails? I feel like that was a thing for a while.
For Drake?
For everybody, anybody.
Drew was one of the people.
I did for a little bit, yeah.
I mean,
No hate though.
man, here's the thing. I don't really
You're
know.
entitled to the opinion. Yeah, I need the truth.
For like celebrities, it's a little bit different. For like rock stars, I mean, I get that. I get that it's like fashion. But when Drake did it, I definitely felt the type of way. Because Drake is the dude that's like, even though he's like really feminine in his music, like that's a side every guy when he's heartbroken. You know what I mean? And this is just a genre of what he does, the music that he makes. But at least I view him as like a masculine dude, right? He talks about being with girls all the time, different relationships, heartbreak, whatever. But like he makes like music where like he's trying to be intimidating, and then he posts on Instagram, oh, and my nails.
You don't think that was very authentically him?
No, not at all. It didn't feel like him at all. It felt like he was.
Yeah, when has he ever ventured into like
No, never.
how A$AP Rocky dresses or anything like that? That's like
Yeah.
very.
It's not him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so here's the thing. It's like, do I think it's a masculine? I don't even know if it's a masculine or I think it's more fashion. You know what I mean?
Case by case.
Yeah,
it could
exactly.
be fashion. It could be someone expressing their gay. It could be
kinda
a number
fruity.
of things. I feel like.
Yeah. So I really think it just depends. But like with him, I was like, and then him and Lil Yachty had a comment like a conversation on Instagram in the comments back and forth. And he was like, dude, you already told me to paint my nails like this so I would stop biting them, and now everybody's hating on me. Is the world homophobic? He was just being an asshole or whatever, playing around. But still, nevertheless, he did it. And it just didn't feel like it was authentically him. We could pick
It was
and choose.
kind of out of right field. Like I feel like people can sense
Yeah.
when someone's being real or not.
Yeah. And like the Harry Styles thing, all the way back 2 years, whenever, that really didn't bother. I'm not really a Harry Styles fan, but he was already kind of dressing feminine to begin with, so it really
Right.
wasn't out of left field.
Even if you look at his, I think it was some type of Idol, maybe, I don't know if it's American Idol, but one of those auditions, he's working at some coffee shop. You could tell that's him, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how he is.
And cross-dressing in and of itself, I don't know. That's not my thing. I never cross-dress. It's just not who I am. Within fashion, if you could call what I'm wearing fashion, I mean, I'm just clothes. I don't know. Young Thug, that was back in like 2015, right? 2016 when he wore the dress on the album cover.
I don't remember how year that was.
It was Jeffrey. That was the name of the album. Yeah, find out. But I mean,
Look
I don't
it
know.
up, Jamie.
Yeah, pull that up, Jamie. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I hadn't been listening to Young Thug that much. It was a shock to me. I was like, oh shit, is he gay now? And then he literally said like, I'm not gay. I don't know. Like you said, case by case.
2016.
Okay, it's 2016.
Great year. Everyone had a good year?
That was a great year. Everybody had a good
That's
year.
crazy.
What is the significance with that?
I don't know.
Like, why did everybody have a great year in 2016?
What could that be? It's not a coincidence. Everyone I've ever talked to.
Well, that was the
Not
last
even
year.
joking.
That was the last year before the world ended.
I thought
You
the
think
war.
so?
I thought the war was supposed to end in 2012.
Nah, the world. Yeah, but everybody attributes that to when Trump won, and just all the craziness.
fucking
Whether or not you like Trump or not, the world just exploded. November 2016, the tail end of that year. But that year going up to like everything, even though the election was happening, bro, that was a craziness in and of itself. But people weren't like at each other's necks. You know what I mean?
No one even thought he was going to win. in the
Nobody
beginning
thought he was
anyways.
gonna win.
Yeah.
Ugh, it was crazy. And then he won. Everybody's like, holy shit.
So do you guys think Trump's gonna win 2024?
I hope not. He's too old, man.
I don't know.
You
I
think-
don't. Good.
You think Trump's like not gonna win? Like you hope he don't win, and like what about fucking think about how old the dude is right now?
You know who I'm going to endorse? Robert Kennedy Jr. That dude, he's a Democrat, but he's like an old-fashioned Democrat. He was... Oh, there's so much shit. He was one of the ones that sued all these like vaccine companies for the damages done by the vaccines and won every single one. He's just such a fascinating candidate. He doesn't sound like he's running against Biden. Okay, he's not running against Trump because he hasn't won the Democratic nomination, and I hate to say it, but I don't think he will because he's too real. Because he would win, frankly, if he had the Democratic nomination. But like, he sounds like such a uniter. You know what I mean?
He's for the people.
He truly is for the people. And I mean, he's not even running on the vaccines and the stance on the vaccines.
You might have to elaborate because people are gonna hear that.
Yeah,
and
you're
they're-
right.
So you know my girlfriend, she's an STNA, and she works at the hospital now, but like where she was working, they were trying to mandate it. Like
I thought they were firing people.
like they were starting to, but like she ended up. I don't know if she got like a religious thing or like she just said I'm not fucking getting it. Like she like got a whole thing. Like went to their. It's technically like it's kind of like an attorney or lawyer like at their work. I don't know what it's called. It's weird, but like this like they pushed it like where she didn't have to get it, so she got exempted from doing that. And then the one chick, she came in here the one day and she told us like she had to get it because or she was gonna get fired from the hospital. And then all of a sudden our girlfriend got hired there and it's not mandatory. Like no one's mandatory to get it there.
The world changed for sure, and then it changed back for the worse. But I know in New York, all the cops that were fired because they didn't get the vaccine, they had to be rehired. It was worked out in the court, and they had to get paid for that time too, which is so. It's a good thing, but for that period in time in 2020, shit went south, man. People started to act crazy. I worked at Giant Eagle for 3.5 months. Worst 3.5 months of my life. I will say that. Shit was bad, bro, dealing with the public like that on a daily, all these miserable people. But the pharmacy was right there, and they were offering the COVID vaccine for free. And as soon as it got approved, this lady every couple days would go to the cash registers. I worked as a cashier, one by one. Would you like to get the COVID vaccine? And every week it would be the same thing. I would say, oh, no. The first week I said, oh, no, I'm waiting. Okay. Well, the second week came by. Same thing. You need the COVID vaccine. They had you on a checklist. It wasn't just they're asking. They had your name, and they had everybody, yes, no, call them, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's a thing that goes against HIPAA, but whatever. It's fine. Same thing. Second week, you want to get the COVID vaccine? Oh no, I'm still waiting. Okay, whatever. Again, third week, this lady asked me from the pharmacy, "You want to get the COVID vaccine?" Oh no, I'm waiting. Well, now it was FDA approved, and she said, "Why not? Well, it's FDA approved, right?" And then people start to look at you, and I'm like, everybody's wearing a mask. I was like, oh, no. And now other people are starting to look and you just brush it off, whatever. And then coworkers would come up to me and, oh, it's approved now. Like you can get it. It's safe. And I was just thinking, like, they literally rushed this. It was called Operation Warp Speed. Most vaccines, it takes years to get approved by the FDA. Why would I want to put this in my body? And the people that are coming up to me, they're double masked. They would wear the gloves. Hand sanitizer on the gloves, like ridiculous shit that didn't even make sense. Even after they said that it couldn't spread on surfaces, so that was kind of crazy to me. And then just more people, more coworkers. Oh, why didn't you want to take it? Don't you want to protect people? But then it came out that like it doesn't stop prevention. And then more of my friends that got the vaccine, they kept getting COVID. And then it just kind of was like, I don't want to get this. You know what I mean? And why are people trying to pressure me to do it? Is it because they fell for whatever these companies were trying to force upon them? And then the one got banned. Which one was it? The Johnson & Johnson one, right? Wasn't it the one that got banned because of blood clots?
Yeah.
Okay, so then there was that. And after that, I was done. I wasn't taking that shit. My dad tried to go around it. He works for the VA. Tried to get out of it with a religious exemption. They wouldn't let him. He had to take it. I mean, he's fine. He's no problems, thank God. He doesn't have any. There's no myocarditis. Nothing. He's good. But a lot of people suffered from the adverse side effects of the vaccine because they didn't give it the proper amount of time to be tested.
Now, would you get this down the road?
No.
How long does it take to get FDA approved? Because I thought it was just like, I don't know the exact word, but I thought it was regulated before they made it out to seem that it was approved.
That's
I don't know if that was the word, but
they messed around with the verbiage. I think around normally. I mean, they were already messing with this thing to begin with before COVID was a thing, but I think it's around 2 years for FDA approval for a vaccine. It might be a little bit more. I'm not too sure.
Now, what I find crazy is you know how everyone's like it's an airborne thing, like wear a mask. How the fuck's that mask gonna stop an airborne thing? Because think about this: you're breathing in still with a fucking mask on. Like, what's gonna make it stop that?
Bro,
Like,
you go ahead.
mind you, it's when did this come out? 2019, right?
2020.
No, 2020.
Yeah.
2020. We're 2023 now. Bro, we're still seeing people walk around like they're driving their cars with masks here and there. We see people coming in over here with masks on. I'm just like, we're 3 years into this shit, and
They-
like,
Could have an immunity disorder, like immune system disorder.
wait,
But you never used to see that though pre-COVID.
yeah, think
True.
about how many people you've seen wearing a mask out in public. None.
Even if
Besides
the
the
flu could get them
hospital.
as well, the flu or anything,
Yeah, like,
there's a very rare person that could have the immunity disorder. But
And okay, but think
about
about this.
it.
Something you said 2 years ago, it would have got you kicked off YouTube. Now that it's become more accepted and like the lab leak theory too, if you would have said that it came from a lab in China, you would have at least got a strike on YouTube if you were popular enough. I wasn't popular enough. I might have had 50 subscribers. But now companies are starting to ease off, like Facebook too. You would have got banned off Facebook if you would have said that. But
we were
other
like warning.
companies.
yeah,
I think we live in a pretty crazy ass time where it's a genuine good versus evil. YouTube's a private company.
yeah.
Kick is a Twitch. It's like, I don't know if it's decentralized, but you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, Rumble's more
Right,
like that
so
too.
it's kind of like the
But watch out,
battle
you might
of.
get
yeah.
kicked off now.
I'll be
You might have
fine.
to switch to Rumble.
I've thought about it. I've thought about uploading episodes there. I'm definitely gonna start uploading episodes to Twitter. I'll have to pay the fee, but I feel like the exposure, you could get so much more exposure off that algorithm too, because it's unpredictable. I feel like it doesn't look as pleasing to the eye though as YouTube for like long form content. I'm sure that'll change, but yeah, we really do live in a crazy ass time. It feels like, I don't know, because like when Trump was president after the world ended the first time, shit was weird and it was crazy, but it was different. You know, like at least the economy was still good. At least like everybody knew that the government, like the presidency and the White House, was like shady and stuff like that a little bit. But like, it didn't feel like they were hiding anything, you know? Now it feels like they're all like the media, celebrities, and movies, musicians, singers, rappers, whatever, government in general. They're just trying to pull like a wall over our eyes or something. You know what I mean?
At least there's a lot of cameras now. They can't really hide it. All you gotta do is open your eyes.
Yeah, that's true. It's harder to get away with things now.
Did you guys hear? Because you just reminded me with cameras. My one client told me earlier that Apple's making glasses. I don't know how true this is. They're making glasses that can read like if a person like likes you, if they're mad, they're sad.
With AI, it's probably just
Yeah.
a matter of time.
Which I'm just thinking, like, I guess this will come out like in the next couple of years.
That's some
Like,
Black
the next
Mirror.
year or two. And I'm just thinking,
Black Mirror type shit.
This is
Yeah.
from here on out Black Mirror.
I was like,
Since COVID.
I'm
it's
like,
Black
I am
Mirror.
not fucking buying them. He's like, well, they're in Verizon and they have a good sale. You're gonna buy them. I'm like, no.
Well, here's something that will probably happen in our lifetime. You gonna get the chip, the Elon Musk chip?
Fuck no.
Neuralink.
I've been talking about this since I started my podcast. No.
Then your podcast gets no views because the people with the chip get all the views.
No. I'm sorry.
It's the principle.
I'm sorry.
You'll be technically Amish compared to everyone that gets the chip.
But look at the people
Okay.
that are Amish.
They're rich.
They're so happy.
Would not get the chip.
No.
But I'm just saying, like,
And I did
know.
predict this in 2021 on one of my first podcasts, and I will continue to predict this. You're gonna see like a mass hysteria, much bigger than you did with the pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine people, because like Elon said, you're gonna be able to talk without words. You're gonna have the internet, but in your brain, like instantaneously, which means
No fucking way.
but listen to this, which means you're going to be more attractive to employers. So why would an employer hire somebody like, the basketball terms, right? Why would an employer hire, I don't know, who's a bench player in the NBA that I could think of? Okay,
Kevin Love.
No. Okay, how about this? Joakim Noah, right? Not even in the league, right? can't even shoot anymore. You can't shoot. Why would you hire a Joakim Noah? Why would you sign Joakim Noah when you could sign Anthony Edwards or Curry or LeBron still, or any top tier NBA player that offers all these sets of skills, you know what I mean, that could lead a franchise, that could lead you to a championship, right? Why would you sign Joakim Noah, who can only do so much? He really can't do anything now compared to those guys, you know what I mean? Those guys are Hall of Famers. Why would you hire somebody that, you know, just couldn't do basic functions? Oh, okay, they could run something through a spreadsheet. They can get you a number. They can do calculations on a calculator. Or, you know, if you want to know something, it's instantaneous in your brain with the chip.
So do you think everyone that didn't get a chip, because people with the chip have all access to figure everything out, you could put a chip in somebody that's never cut hair with AI, they could probably be the best barber in the world.
Oh, of course.
So
they could learn languages instantaneously.
People that didn't get the chip, are they essentially useless cattle at that point? Like, you're not selling your soul to become a robot, but to society, you're basically useless.
You're a cyborg. So yeah, here's my theory on it. You're going to create two different classes. The people that have all the money are going to get the chip. And then my thought is like that the middle class will kind of be divided. Some will get it, but then some won't. Some won't get it because of religious reasons. Some won't get it because they don't trust the government. They don't trust these companies. Some won't get it because they just don't have the money. The poor and disenfranchised people probably won't be able to get it. And the people who do get it, they'll either have the money or they'll just be curious and want all this knowledge of the gods or whatever. And so there's going to be this giant fight. And I don't know if it's even going to be a fight, because it seems like the people with the chip are going to win because they know everything. They know all the outcomes. But I don't know. I truly feel like the people in government are going to find a way to take advantage of the chip like they do with everything else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're not going to be perfect. We're going to fall short every time.
Yeah, I mean, it only took this long for them to start taking control of the internet. And not in terms of like what we can or cannot see on the internet, but like these different companies like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media companies.
Now, like, do you think, like, say, like, when, think about this, like, when kids are born in hospitals, do you think they're gonna put the chips inside the kids, like, boom, right there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know, because the brain doesn't develop until you're like 27, right? For males, at least.
I don't fucking know, but
I don't know exactly.
But what if it's like with the chip that develops faster or something?
The thing is, it's
you don't know.
It's not up to us. It's up to the people with the chips. They can basically do whatever the fuck they want.
No, like,
we're losing that battle 10 times out of.
I'm just saying, like, say you're a kid, not you're a kid. But say you're the parent. Say you and
You might
your
not have
girl,
a choice. They get outsmart if they want
Like,
to put a chip in your kid.
I'm
or
just
not.
saying, like, say you and your girl at the time,
Okay.
all right, have a kid, and you guys are at the hospital. She delivers the kid, all that. They're like, do you want the chip? Yes or no?
Assuming
tell
I
them-
get a girl, this is going well already.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You guys say no, not supposed to get the chip, but that was when they put the chip in. You think like you guys would not notice because they know a way to hide it all of a sudden.
No, you're gonna know, but it's
What
can't
if
do
they,
nothing about it.
what if they know a way to hide it though?
No, you're gonna know because
In a
the
way.
kid's gonna have a chip, so the kid could do whatever the kid
There's
could.
going to be a scar in the head.
I'm just saying,
Well, the kid would be so smart.
these people have chips, bro. They might be able to have a way to fucking like hide that shit.
You're not gonna have to hide it. They could just fucking figure out a way for you not to be able to do anything about it. Oh, you have a
That's
kid?
it.
Oh, that's our kid now.
I mean, even
Damn, that'd be crazy.
they have chips right now. The brain chip, actually, believe it or not, when everybody was complaining and fighting about remember the female swimmer? Okay, the collegiate female swimmer. While everybody was fighting about that, the chip got FDA, not FDA approved, but approved for human trial. Fun fact, nobody covered that though. Everybody wanted to cover the trans athlete and argue over that shit and have the media play out about it. But when everybody was arguing over that, they just slid it in while nobody could realize and nobody could pay attention. Because why would they? They were up in arms about this thing. But the chip is already happening with human trials, and then it's been tested for the past 2-3 years in I believe it was a monkey or like an ape, some species of that area. It was actually playing, you know, the game Pong, like from the 80s. It was playing Pong with its mind. There's videos of this. I don't know. My girlfriend's anti-chip. I'm anti-chip. A lot of people, most people I know are anti-chip. Only person that I know that said they would get the chip was my old producer.
I actually would, if I can give it free, I might do it. I don't know, because say if I have all this knowledge,
It wouldn't
that
take a lot to convince him. to
I
get
don't
the
know,
chip.
man.
I don't know. I'm thinking about this like,
If you want to get biblical, there's
is there a way? Is there gonna be a way to take it out?
I don't know. I don't think.
If I can get that shit taken out, if I don't
They
like
say
it,
you can, but like that's a risk
If you
you're
want to,
taking.
if you want to get biblical, there's this thing called like the mark of the beast. I mean, if you believe in all that, I personally do. It'd be like a prophecy. You know what I mean?
But how would we know what the mark of the beast would be?
The fuck's the mark
there
of
could
the
be
beast?
so many things.
It's a biblical term. I don't want to have to go all the way deep
Doesn't
into
it say
it.
it has to have the 666 on
Yeah,
it?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so. I'm not too sure. I would have to look it up. Open up the Bible.
I'm just saying, I might have to be one of the test dummies for that chip.
Trust me,
'Cause
you
what
do
if I-
not want to be the test subject. I'm
What
telling
if
you
I
right now.
develop all this fucking
Folks, you won't
knowledge?
do it.
Right, but what if you develop all these diseases and conditions?
I gotta die.
They're drilling into your brain.
I gotta die at some point.
But not from that. Dude, there's no way. Granted, you are going to be able to talk without words and
Dude, fuck-
have all this knowledge.
Fuck the talking without words. I just want to be able to like know everything.
But you can already know everything.
I can't remember everything.
But to that extent, what if they get the chip and they realize that doing all these things for greed, materialistic things, and evil is literally not the correct way to go about things? And they should. What if it ends up being in a world of good? If they know everything, wouldn't they find out if spirituality is a genuine thing
Are you talking-
and types of religion is if that's all genuinely good versus evil is real? Wouldn't the chip, if they knew everything, they would find enlightenment in work, and then they'd be basically.
Are you referring to a utopia? Because I will say all the people who have had these dreams of utopias, it's never worked.
The fuck's a utopia?
Like a society, a world, not even a futuristic world, but a world where there's no struggle, there's no problems, everything is good, everybody has enough food to eat, everything is good, like there's no bad, there's no crime.
But you'd have the chip, so you'd know that that's not gonna work. So you'd have to voluntarily insert some type of struggle. Maybe it shouldn't be perfect, but wouldn't they be able to have, if they can use AI to constantly learn more and more and more and more and more about what the world is supposed to be, why we're here, wouldn't they eventually be like, all right, this is what you're supposed to do? Or would that be pointless? That's the whole point. You're not supposed to figure it out.
Here's the thing, I think there's different interpretations, because we're already seeing with ChatGPT, it's biased. If you ask, regardless of what you feel about these two people, if you ask it to say something good about Trump versus something good about Biden, you're going to get different answers, not because of the people, but because of the bias of the political parties.
So it depends which AI they
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna fully find an unbiased AI. You know what I mean? And even then, going off track to something else, you don't know if the government's gonna use this chip to track you. You know what I mean? Think about it. You step out of line. You say something about a president, about a politician, about a way that the government's running things in the country that you don't like. Maybe they say, okay, you physically can't go outside this specific set of boundaries. Kind of like they do in China with the social credit score. They don't have chips, but if you speak out against their government, they physically won't let you travel to places. Like you won't be allowed to go on planes. You won't be allowed to pass certain checkpoints. Like these things are real. I mean, you never know.
I hope this isn't the good old days where we're like, man, remember when you used to be able to jaywalk and not get hit with the $50 fine straight out of your checking account?
Bro, and in China, once again, if you jaywalk, they put you on a sign. It's like a shame sign.
Wait, they actually do that?
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
already a thing in China.
Yes. There's a lot of shit. And like
I
with
ain't
the,
ever going to China.
and
Bro,
like,
it could come here. You
and
ain't
like
gotta-
here's the thing.
Fuck.
Have you heard have you
I'm
heard
going to fucking the moon, bro.
listen to this. Have you ever heard about the digital dollar they're trying to instate? Not reinstate, but instate. So the government still technically can't track you where you spend your money if you credit card to an extent. I mean, you might be able to see where you get it, like what store, but you don't know exactly what you got and what you purchased. I mean, with different credit card companies, you have different results, but they can't track cash. They can't track what you buy in cash. So that's why, I mean, I don't know with you guys, but you don't have to technically claim cash if you get something. You don't have to confirm or deny that because it'd be proven, whatever. That's not the point. But if you get something, if you receive a certain amount of money, a lot of business owners, what they do is they don't claim the cash because you can't track the cash. What the government's trying to do is eliminate the paper cash and institute like not a cryptocurrency, it's the US dollar, but it would be on your phone, and they're trying to eliminate that so they can track more things, so they can have more control. And the idea is that it would be for our safety, right? To track, for example, if somebody had purchased a gun, or I don't know if for whatever reason they would purchase something and the government perceived it to be as a threat. But I mean, I don't think this goes anywhere good.
This isn't just a talk. This is a battle we will have to face in our lifetime.
Like the digital dollar is happening in
decision.
August. There's already been, it's called like Fed dollar or something like that. My grandpa.
Like we're all gonna get no matter what.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's between we either unify as a people, which has rarely ever happened, and decide to go into a DeFi
January 6th.
coin, or you get like stimulus type checks to convert to the US dollar coin where they have all control, and people are going to take them checks every time.
Well, that was the whole attraction to Bitcoin, is that it's not regulated by the government. The people have control, and so the people are what are driving the value up and down. But the government tried to vilify Bitcoin, and I think they did try to regulate it. I don't know if they have regulation yet, but I don't know, man. I think about this all the time, and it's like we have the Second Amendment in this country. Whether or not you like the Second Amendment, you have the ability to own a gun, multiple guns. Obviously, there's guns that are illegal, whatever. But at the end of the day, you are allowed to own guns to take up against the government and to protect yourself too. But those things are mutually exclusive, or at least they can be. But the problem is that I always run into, or I've run into recently when thinking about this, is they have the drones. They have the drones that they drop on Middle Eastern countries still to this day to eliminate potential terrorists. But they'll also kill innocents too. But as long as the terrorist gets killed in that vicinity, they don't care. So if they were to perceive us as threats, if we were to, meaning not us, but like we as a group of Americans, the American public, if we were to take arms up against the government, I don't know how successful we would be, because they still have the drones with the bombs.
Yeah, might be fucked on that one.
I don't know. But I feel like good always prevails somehow. You know what I mean? Good always prevails somehow, but it's
Even
a tough
if
scenario.
you die for good,
Oh, a lot of people would
you're
have to
just
die
gonna
for
have
good.
to have that undeniable belief that whatever happens after you die, you're doing for good.
And I bet a lot of people would too. That's the thing, especially right now with how people are hurting with inflation.
What else you gonna do? Be depressed and fucking just be a yes man to the government?
Because the government is the reason we're in this whole problem. I mean, yeah, you could blame it on the people who came before us that voted these people in. These people that are still like 90 years old and they're still senators or still representatives. There's this one lady, I believe she's 91, 92. Her name is Dianne Feinstein, and I believe she's a senator. She has to be wheeled into office every day. She was off for like 3 months. Democrats and Republicans were kind of aligned, saying she had to go. And she's still there. Like all these politicians that they have these net worths of like $100 million, $200 million, and they're allowed to inside trade, which if you don't know what insider trading is basically they're knowing about all these things that they're going to vote on, right? And they invest in the companies that they know are going to profit from the legislation that will be introduced and voted on. So like, for example, if they pass a deal that is supporting green energy, say, right, they're gonna fund electric cars, right? Like a week before, they'll put however much money into Tesla stock, and then once the Tesla stock jumps, because it's announced that they're gonna be putting all the funding into green energy, electric cars, stuff like that, they get the residual, they get the money, they get the profit. and then they sell it, and that happens now. It's not actually them, but it's usually the family members that do this. And like, for example, Nancy Pelosi, I'm pretty sure her annual salary is like $200,000 a year. At least it was. She was a Speaker of the House, and her net worth is $200 million. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Granted, the woman's 80 years old, but like, it doesn't make sense.
Dealing with that would be pretty close to getting to the root of the problem. If there's a way to, I don't know if you could, I don't know if there's a candidate right now that's trying to get rid of lobbying in general or somehow make that happen.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
actually there are. There's two. There's this guy named John Ossoff. He is a senator from Georgia. He introduced a bill trying to prevent that. I don't think it passed. There's Republicans and Democrats that are for this. It's just some of them are lesser known. But yeah, it's sad, man.
Right.
A lot of these elected officials that we think are in here to protect our own self-interest and keep us safe
It's
are
also
putting us in harm's way.
semi-sad that, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not, like, even, I don't go out of my way to look up these political things. It's like just a fucking crazy world we live in, that it ends up being that, okay, who's gonna come in and hopefully guide America to a better place? It's got to that point, because I'm not even a political person. I wish it was back in the day when you didn't have to be, you know what I mean?
But then again, here's the thing: we wouldn't be woken up to what they're doing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've been doing this for a long time, and with the rise of the internet, I feel like it's just starting to get exposed. You know?
See, I feel like you guys are more into the politics and all that than I am.
I
I'm
wonder
like,
if there's anything any of us disagree on. Like,
I'm
we're
like-
pretty agreeable on.
I'm saying, I was like on my phone for like one part. I get back. We were talking about the chip. Then I get back. I'm like, you guys are talking about Nancy Pelosi and shit. I'm like, I'm fucking lost. Like, where? How did we go from the chip to Nancy Pelosi?
This podcast, it always takes a turn. Would you believe that we're an hour and 45 in? Yeah.
I guess I didn't even think about it the whole time. It does go pretty fast.
We are gonna have to wrap this up briefly. Is there anything you guys want to say before we sign off?
Speak your truth. Always work on that. Even not as a beacon of I ain't no Jordan Peterson, but every individual could just speak their truth and make the world through love such a better place. And I don't care how corny you laugh all you want, how corny that sounds, that genuinely, as a person in this present moment, while you're watching this today, this week, could move the world into a better place. If not, everyone around you, because it's all energy. So
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say.
I'm just saying, y'all are fucked if I get on this. If I get this chip, and especially if it's free, y'all are fucked.
It's not gonna be free.
If they look at me and said, "Clips, you want this chip for free?"
We need guinea pigs.
I'm gonna be like, "Yes, sir." As long as I know everything, y'all are fucked. I'm gonna know everyone's fucking track history. I'm gonna know they did drugs and all that shit. Watch.
You heard it here first, folks. Alrighty. We'll see ya.